A couple of years ago, during a rush of blood to the head, I deleted the Corporeal Fantasy channel. It was very successful. I think it had about 5,000 subscribers and was growing reasonably quickly. And you could say, well, why the hell did you take it down? Well, I took it down because I wasn't happy with some of the content on it. And being the kind of character I am, it was easier just to delete the whole fucking lot than go through and pick out the bits I didn't like. Anyway, some people protested. And obviously I still have those podcasts. So because I'm a lazy git, my wife has offered to put them back up on a Corporeal Fantasy channel. They'll go up at the rate of probably one a day. So I think there's probably about 200, so it's going to take the best part of a year for them to go back up there. But if you're interested in looking at the old Corporeal Fantasy podcasts, and a lot of people did seem to like them, even though I'm not happy with some of them, then you can go to the Corporeal Fantasy channel on YouTube. There's a link below to it. Once it's got 100 subscribers, the link will be renamed. I've no idea whether the old one will still work. If it doesn't, I'll probably just change the link name that's down below. Anyway, so for any Corporeal Fantasy fans that want to look at all the old stuff, it's going up on that channel, and I think there's about, I don't know, maybe about 5 up there already. I have to say a couple of them I wouldn't have put back up, but people seem to like them. Anyway, so that's Corporeal Fantasy. I just also want to mention about the renaming of this channel, which again is somebody said something to the effect of, you change the name of this channel more often than the weather changes, or something like that. The reason I changed the name from negative philosophy to practical philosophy is primarily because people were saying to me, oh well, I didn't subscribe because I thought it was basically a moaning club. Negative, oh isn't it awful, blah blah blah, a bit like that Emendum guy, endless podcasts and videos saying how awful the whole thing is, which to some extent is true, but there's probably a bit more to it than it just being awful. Anyway, so I've changed the name so that people don't, if you saw the introduction video, I was very explicit. I said this is not a complaining channel. The word negative means taking away, destroying our preconceptions and our illusions about things. But I think most people just didn't watch that. So anyway, I've renamed it Practical. Now you might say, well, why Practical? Because there's nothing much on this channel that's practical. Well, I'm trying to be consistent. The Patreon channel was called Practical Philosophy first of all. Called Practical Philosophy, and that's because it was about practice. Because I can produce these podcasts forever and a day, but unless there's some practice, you don't learn anything. And you could rightly say, well, on YouTube you're not putting any practice. Well, I might put a few things on here that you can do, but there'll be simple things because I'm uneasy about putting too much on a public channel. On Patreon, people can message me and they can leave comments that are useful for other people. And the other thing that Patreon does is it weeds out the nutcases, the people who want to leave comments about there being a flat earth or I don't know, just the usual negative stuff, and particularly the Gurdjieff groupies. I don't want Gurdjieff groupies telling me about the Sun Absolute and the Ray of Creation. I'm interested in practical stuff, not in theory. So Patreon has served that purpose very well. Anyway, that's why it's called the Practical Philosophy, because it's about bringing philosophy into your life as something that means something, maybe alters your life in some way, and about having practices. So maybe the next podcast I'll put up on this channel will be some simple little practice you can do that may help you see a few things. So that's it. Nothing much more to say really. Go to Corporeal Fantasy if you want to look at all the old videos. And I've now given you a reason why the name has changed, and it won't stop people complaining, but yeah, I don't give a fuck.